YouTube. Balls. Sup, bitches? Yeah, that's right. Cunt, balls, chode liquor. Vanish, everybody. Give me the thumbs down. Get the fuck out of the room. This is what's going to happen. So, today's test, as you saw, are you ready to fucking rumble? It is the international M390 battle happening right here in good old North Georgia. Before I get into that, I want to preface this with, again, saying thank you to some people. I want to give a huge thank you to everybody, Vinny, Nero, Patty, everyone who's ever... Slicey Dicey, thank you. On one of his live streams, he gave me a shout out. Really, really appreciate that, man. I want to give a huge thank you to Mr. Mark Tudor. Not only did he meet up with me and provide 2 of the knives for this video and the idea to do this, but I had mentioned on an Instagram post that I was looking to buy a R2D2 because I wanted to redo the D2 test. And I got a, Kurt had sent me a Ganzo F11, FH11 that was 62 HRC, so I wanted to redo that. He offered to buy me one. I told him no, I was going to pick one up secondhand. I go to my mailbox, it was yesterday, and lo and behold, there is this in the mail, in my mailbox, from Mr. Mark Tudor. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, of course, he bought it anyway, and instead of just getting like the basic bitch model, he had to go get the carbon fiber one with the black blade. Mark, that is unbelievably generous of you. I can't say thank you enough. So if you don't follow Mark Tudor on Instagram, go follow him. He's Mark Tudor ATL. He's a super knife nut. He's a very intelligent guy. Really funny dude. Had a lot of fun hanging out with him, which we got to do again. Speaking of hanging out, so thank you, Mark. I really appreciate that. Speaking of hanging out, another friend that I just made, his name is Caleb. I think he goes by Caleb Jackson18 on Instagram. If you don't see him, go follow him. He's another knife nut. He offered to send me some knives. I gave him my address, and then he turned around and was like, I live in South Carolina, man. I'm like an hour from you. So we met halfway at a town called Cornelia and hung around and talked shit and drank beer, and I got funny looks at because we're talking about knives, sitting there, and me being me at a bar. Sometimes get garners looks from people, not just here. But yeah, man, I made a new friend, and that's the best part of this whole thing, man. That's come out of this. I made a lot of friends on YouTube, a lot of friends on Instagram, friends that live by me like Mark and Caleb that I now can see and talk and have fun. And he was nice enough to, he literally brought a fucking box of knives. It was like, here, which ones you want? Which ones you want to try? So I got about 7 of them. So yeah, one of those, that's why this video took me a little longer to shoot, because I had a, I was about to do the test, and luckily I didn't, because then he gave me a knife that I wanted to put in this. So, international M390 battle. What are we doing, right? Let's see. Mark had the idea. Let's see where the heat treats are at, because every single these other companies are outside the U.S. may do better or worse heat treats. Sweetwater representing GA, triple tail. Which is funny because triple tail is one of my favorite fish in the whole wide world, and we used to actually had it on one of my menus in Florida. Come on, focus. There we go. There we go. All right, so today in the Italian corner, weighing in at I don't know how much, is this big motherfucker right here. This is the Maserin, okay? Italian made. The name of this knife, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is the, what is that? The Nimrod. Yes, that's what it's called. I know Mark's going to put in the comments and tell me what the Latin version of that really means or whatnot. I don't know. I can't remember, but here in America, Nimrod is fucking hilarious. This is a, yeah, this is cool. This guy felt good on the stones, man. This kind of reminded me of the Freak, the way it's sharpened. Was nice. This guy is the biggest guy of the bunch. This guy is the thickest guy of the bunch. He was, where is he? 24 thousandths behind the edge. So there we go. Cool, big, stout backlock. Then we've got, in the China corner, there we go. WE Knives Practic. This is the first time. Well, not the first time. The first time it was Mark. Might have been handling this knife, handling a WE knife. And man, they're really well fit and finished, man. They're really good knives. I'll tell you one thing they do really good. They grind knives really thin. This hollow grind, this knife at 15 degrees per side is 18 thousandths behind the edge. This knife is hella thin. Spyderco, Benchmade. Do it. I mean, unless I go and cut this thing and the edge falls apart, then I'll say no, but I doubt it's going to happen. Again, M390, also an M390, super popular company, kind of the premier Chinese company out there right now, making some badass knives. Again, this isn't my style of knife, but it's a really cool knife, man. So I can see why guys love it so much. 18,000 behind the edge. In the American corner, this is one that Caleb loaned me. This is the Giant Mouse Knives ACE Iona right here. This is kind of made a big splash. This was a big deal. This is a sub $100 knife that has Bowler M390 in it. So this was awesome. I really wanted to. This is what held up the test a little bit. This guy was 21,000 behind the edge. This guy felt a little weird. He felt a little soft on the stones, kind of, sort of. I don't know. It felt a hair different. A little softer, not quite. It was a little gummy almost. All these knives have been sharpened 3 times. Don't worry, I went through the whole stats, guys. Did the whole thing. This guy just felt gummy. He just felt. I mean, I don't know. It could just be me, but it felt a little gummy. But that was that. And then in the truly American corner, Mr. Kurt sent me this knife, and I had to put it in this one. Yeah, Buck Knives Vantage. That's right, full-on American knife. But Steve, this isn't 20 CV. It's not M390. Shut up. It's the same steel. I'm so tired of guys telling me, oh, but Carpenter has 2nd generation, Bowler has 3rd generation. There's no standardization on powdered metallurgy generations. They can tell you it's the fucking 100th generation. It doesn't matter. It's just their own proprietary process. This is the same steel. It's the same steel. It's compositionally the same. The only difference is going to be, like I said, grind, heat treat, edge finish. Those are going to make a difference. There's no difference, okay? So I'm going to throw this guy in there because a lot of guys asking about BOS. I know Pete's test, he's had real good success with BOS heat treats. Doing better on S30V at least than maybe some standard ones. So throwing this guy in the mix, BOS heat treat, 20 CV, full-on American. Interestingly enough, which is just a little side note, all 3 of these guys are actually stonewashed. Satin finished. Don't know why. That's a common thing with M390 and 20 CV. But yeah, they're all stonewashed, which I thought was kind of cool. And this guy behind the edge was actually pretty thin. He was, where is it? Vantage. 20,000 behind the edge. So this guy and this guy were both very thin behind the edge. And oddly enough, they're both hollow ground. They're done well. This hollow ground was actually done pretty good. The Wii hollow ground is like really titties. So there we go. So same concept. 1-inch section, went through the same progression. DMT coarse, DMT fine, 1 micron strap on leather, 10 passes per side, fully deburred edges. Make sure of that, right? And then we just cut. I'm doing both now from now on. We're going to cut until it no longer shaves arm hair, and then I'll continue the test to where it no longer will reliably cut a sheet of paper going across the grain. And there we go. That is the effect. That is the parameters of the test. So yeah, there we go. Without further ado, testing. bitches. Now it's time, working edge. That was fine edge testing. Now we're going into a working edge. What do I mean by working edge? Very, very simple, ladies and gentlemen. Same exact edge, see how the tape's all fucked up? Same edge as before. Stop shaving hair. Right now, they will all slice paper against the grain. Gonna keep cutting cardboard until it will no longer cut paper against the grain. Same one in section. And here we go. Alright, here we go. Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm doing, because this one was a good one. This is like, I don't even know if I want to put this up. I'm going to get fucking flamed so hard. My bottle opener is my angle guide. If y'all want one, it's like 14 bucks at Blade HQ, even though I hate Blade HQ. Woo! Yeah, alright. Yeah, let's get into this. Oh, real quick, I forgot to mention this earlier. So, I fucked up. So, I made a math mistake. For people who have followed my channel before, my first like 5 videos, I was doing the percentages wrong. I was basically doing them backwards. Not the brightest guy in the world, or at least the best math skills. This time it was even worse. I just did basic multiplication wrong. On the 20 CV test, the last one I did with the Benchmade, the 20 CV test with the PM2 and the Benchmade. It's real simple. What I do is I have the measure of the cardboard, how long it is. I count the cuts, write them down, and then multiply it by how long the cardboard is. Well, the cardboard is 25.5 inches. When I took the cuts, I added, instead of 28.5, I did 25.8. So I shortchanged it. The PM2 actually cut 116 feet, not 109, and the Benchmade, the mini grip in 20 CV actually cut 130 instead of 118. The percentages are still the same. It's still a 12% difference, but it did cut longer, and it cut longer on the working edge, because I did it across the board on the whole test. So my bad. This is why I tell you guys got to write shit down, man. But on that note, how I figured that out is because I've had guys ask me if I could do a chart like Pete does. So that's how I found it out, was because I have everything written down. and I made a chart. So at the bottom in the description of every single video, I went through every single video and put it up. There is a Google Docs that has, it's real simple, man. I kept it real simple, just the knife name, the steel, the fine edge, and the working edge, how many feet they did, and that's going to always be updated. So that's a cool thing about the Google Docs, is it updates as I update it. So that's going to be on the bottom here. It's going to have all the results of all the tests that I've done thus far. That's actually how I ended up figuring that out. It's because I was looking at it and, come on, there we go. I was like, that doesn't make sense. 50 whatever cuts isn't 118 feet, because I've been looking at a bunch of them. So, my apologies. It's down there. This is why you guys gotta like take notes, man, and check me out. Sometimes I don't do the brightest things. But anyway, so that's on the bottom there. Problem solved. So now there's a chart. You guys can go back and check every video, and it's always up to date. So, let's get into this shit, because this shit's got some. This is some shit. This is yeah. Been on a Sweetwater kick lately. The variety packs are dope. So, let's start with this guy. The Iona. The reason I held up this test was because this thing was kind of a big deal, man. This came from Ace Knives, and they do phenomenal work. It was under $100 for M390. Granted, it's got a lot of milling on the G10 and whatnot, or FRN, whatever that is. But anyway, so how did this guy do? 21 thousandths behind the edge, not super thick. Pretty good. About a PM2. And I got 99.75 feet. For its fine edge holding, and for its working edge, a total of 123.5. Still very good, but to put it into perspective, my Rat 1 and ACE 8 fine edge holding was 121 feet, and then I think 127 or 9 on the last one. Check on the bottom. So this underperformed ACE 8. My grandmother used to say, if something it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Kind of this. Guys, let's be honest. Now, don't get me wrong. 100 feet on a 1-inch section is plenty of EDC, guys. You guys got to remember that. And you guys also have to remember, most of the knives in these tests are also mine, right? So I keep trying to tell guys, I don't have a dog in this fight. It doesn't matter what steel does better to me. Most of these I spent my hard-earned money on. This test in particular, none of these knives are mine. So trust me, I don't want to tell somebody like Caleb or Mark, hey bro, your knife didn't, or Kurt, that your knife didn't perform that well, So I don't have a stake in any of this, man. I'm just cutting cardboard, writing it down, and sharpening the knives. That's all I'm doing. So, real quick, yeah. So this, for M390, this hell underperformed. This is the worst M390 I've tested thus far, or 20 CV. But again, it's under $100 knife. What did we really expect, guys? This thing was going to hold an edge forever. They're not, you know what I mean? So there we go. That's that guy, right? Kind of surprising, but not surprising. Let's get into, I don't know where to start and where to go next with this. Okay, here we go. Let's start with this one. The WE knives, right? There, come on, focus. There we go. WE knives. How do WE knives do? Is it like China D2? Is it full of shit? No. I'm sure this is M390. This knife was the thinnest, was thin behind the edge, 18,000 behind the edge. This cut 114 feet before it stopped shaving hair, and then went on to a working edge total of 180.5, which is actually very good. Its fine edge holding is right in line with all the rest of the M390 that I've done. Between 111 and 120 feet is about where all the rest have landed. But its working edge was actually better. And I was thinking about that, and I think I might know why, and this is why. So then we'll go into the next knife. This guy, Buck Vantage, the boss, the American heat treat. How did it do? Right? Was it any better? Actually, well, come on. Where are you? Come here. There we go. Actually, it was. It did do better. This for the fine edge holding did 125.9 feet, which is very close to the Buck. Or sorry, the Benchmade in 20 CV. And then on the working edge, this actually held for very long. This did 197.1 feet. So, looky there. And I'll get back to that in a second, but the Buck Vantage, better heat treat, maybe? The Boss heat treat? When we got into the working edge, kind of like Pete's, it did better than the other M390s? No! Speaking of Pete, I don't know if y'all have watched his video recently where he took that Nitro V, which is basically 12C, basically 14C28N with vanadium, and he got S30V level performance. Like, you mean a custom heat treat on a simple steel performed better than a major manufacturing, a production knife? What? Huh? Get out of here. That doesn't even make sense. Yeah, so back into that. Now, let's talk about this fucking thing. This fucking giant, massive Nard dog, thickest behind the edge at 24 thousandths behind the edge, big ass lockback. This fucking thing doesn't even make sense. So, you know how much this cut? I'll tell you how much this cut right here. Fine edge holding, 144.9 feet. That's up there with my my Benchmade Freak and my in S30V and the what are we talking about? The bug out. Okay, this beat all of them in that. But then we get even crazier. I don't know if you guys can see in the test. It kind of chops through it a little bit. I don't know if you saw it, but I kept looking at this edge because I could not believe what was happening. I don't know what this thing's Rockwelled at. And again, like I say all the time, guys, Rockwell is not the CL end-all in a heat treat. The proper Austinizing, and go look at knifesteelnerds.com, and they'll explain it a lot better. It takes a lot longer. But the whole heat treat process, the whole process of refining grain structure and bringing carbide volume, you know, bringing everything even and all that, has more to do. The ending heat treat number isn't the CL end-all, okay? It has to be, I would like a knife, as we all would, at a higher Rockwell, that's properly heat treated. But here might be an example of that. I don't know what the HRC is of this. Speaking of which, I know the HRC, Kurt HRC this, you can see the divots in the knife on the flats. This came in at 58.5, and it cut, for fine edge holding, 25.9 feet, which is right there with everything else that's around that I've had tested at 58 HRC, around 120 feet, between 115 and 120 feet. So there we go. Another. His Benchmade mini grip in 20 CV, just like mine, tested at 58 Rockwell, and that one cut 130 feet, 0.6. So that's only a 4% difference. So there you go. But this thing, man, the working edge, this thing cut another 200 feet over. The working edge on this knife from start to finish till we no longer slice paper was 358.65 feet. That is coming in on the first test of S90V. Yeah, bro. That's no fucking joke, man. Like, I'm going to see if Mark will let me send this to Kurt to get it Rockwell, because apparently in Italy, they know what the fuck they're doing with this steel, because I'm willing to bet this thing's up around 62, man. I said it felt different. It did feel different on the stones, man. It felt real clean. It deburred real easy. I mean, it literally did it itself. And it came up real sticky on the edge. And it just kept going, man. I couldn't believe it. I kept staring at the edge, and I'm watching. I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Is this... It just, man, did this thing just keep fucking cutting, bro. I can't even describe to you. So 358 total feet before we no longer reliably slice paper against the grain on a 1-inch section. This thing is a fucking monster. So Maserin Knives out of Italy knows what the fuck they're doing with their heat treat. I mean, this is literally looks like some kind of like linen micarta or something like that, a burlap micarta. There are no steel liners in this thing. I mean, it's very simple put together, real simple construction. But boy, they put their, I don't know how much this thing goes for, but they put their money in that blade, whatever it costs. Unbelievable. So there's the M390 everyone's been looking for. Right here. This Maserin, this thing is just fucking retarded. I don't even know what to say. It just like blew me away. I don't even know. Now I gotta go test the S30V, the Freak, see what happens. But yeah, here's your grand champion. Apparently in Italy, they know what the fuck they're doing with M390. But with that, real quick, I just want to touch something real quick. I noticed these two knives performed. Again, I know this is at 58, and it performed 58 HRC, and it performed right in line with all the rest of the knives. The ACE 8, the ACE 8 Rat 1, that hit about 120. I think it was 120 feet. The Kershaw Dividend, the Mini Ritter Grip, that was Rockwell from what M. Johnwell said at 58. That did 111 feet, 0.6. So you're seeing this same. They're all within about 5-6% of each other. The Kershaw Dividend did 116.4 feet. So it's now I haven't Rockwell that one, but again, you can almost determine the Rockwell based on where it's coming at. What I did notice though is the Practic and this Buck Vantage, both in the working edge, did a lot better than the other two M390 knives that I did. So, for instance, the difference between this Buck Vantage and the Benchmade Mini Grip in fine edge holding was only 4%. between their results. The difference between those two knives and their working edge was 28%. That's a significant difference. The difference between this PM2, the PM2 and this Practic, between fine edge holding was only 2%. But the difference between their working edge was 21%. So here's where I start talking about, again, heat treat, guys. It's not, I mean, again, it's not just the Rockwell, okay? These might be at 58 Rockwell, but the process, the whole heat treating process that Boss brags about, the austenizing, all that, getting the steel just right, also matters. So here's, this may be what we're seeing here. On top of that, both these knives are hollow ground. Both these knives are thinner behind the edge than both the PM2, and significantly thinner behind the edge than the mini grip. I think the mini grip was like 23 thousandths behind the edge. So you're looking at an edge holding that's, again, is it the hollow grind? I'm not sure, but I can tell you right now that both these knives, once we performed around the same, right in that ballpark for the fine edge holding, but then once we got into working edge, both these guys performed their counterparts significantly. I mean, over 20% in both. One almost 30. And that's the Boss. So, you know, Boss brags about his heat treat. While it may not be a super high Rockwell, as far as your fine edge holding goes, it hit at 125.9 feet. That's about where Benchmade's was. But when we start getting to that working edge, man, that's where I think maybe his heat treat's really starting to shine, man. His whatever they do there is allowing the knife to perform as intended, better than your average heat treat. So far, Boss did hold up, America, but America didn't win today, boy. Italy, them goddamn Italians, they got some shit going on over there, man. So here we go, Nimrod, the Maserin Nimrod, man. I don't even know what to say about that. That thing just fucking, it just cut like a fucking demon. I mean, yeah. So yeah, everybody, there you go. There's results. Check out the chart in the description. I'm going to leave that up. I'm going to keep that on every video so you guys can check it out. You don't have to necessarily listen to everything that I'm always saying. You can just watch that, and I guarantee more guys will just fast forward or they'll just look at that and see what I got. So here we go. Again, my apologies for the only video of the weekend so far. I'll have one coming out midweek because I have a knife in the mail that I'm really eager to test against another knife. And you guys will see what that's going to be. Probably Monday or Tuesday I'll do that test. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you on the next video.